Yeah. So my roommate, mental health issue, by the way, guys. It's hard for me. God teaching me something because I didn't have a lot of patience before, but I'm like really learning patience in Edmonton. So yeah. So anyways, what was I saying? So again, follow me. Like these guys are really creepy. This lady said to me, she goes, she's like, you think positive about everybody. And because she when I told her, okay, every time I go back to the salon, I'm like, well, I got another boyfriend. And they just kind of laughed. And I was like, they're like, what happened again? No. And I'm like, well, some other guy. And it's always like black, brown, Middle Eastern, whatever, even white guys. The last white guy followed me around. He's my friend now. It turned out he was somewhat normal, and except for he's like an anti-vaxxer or whatever. It's been my COVID. I don't know about that. I have a strong suspicion. Anyways, and he brings me eggs and tries to take me out for dinner all the time and stuff. And I just met him walking in the mall, and I was like, "Whoa!" He kind of ran upon me too, but it was a good thing it was daytime and it was at a very busy situation, so it wasn't like this guy in the parking lot that's kind of dark. It wasn't like shady and fishy and kind of, it's like they never think like you can get your ass, and they always think because they're a man they're fine. It's like, a woman can break your hand and break your face. Like, don't run up on a woman. How are you going to tell? And then you're going to tell your boys, oh, some dude beat me up. You're never going to say a girl beat you up, because when I beat up all these guys, they never say I did. They always say it's a guy or something like, oh, she's like 6'5", 6'7", and she like beat me up. Like, that's back in my booty shorts day when they used to grab ass and do all in the 90s, all inappropriate and just do weird stuff, so of course, like, what do you expect? You don't grab a girl's ass and think that you're not gonna get and be careful whose ass you grab. You never know. Could be a black belt taekwondo martial artist. You never know. So never know who you're messing with. But anyways, I think I might have a date or another boyfriend. I thought I was gonna change. I'm old and this still I did. But this is how I know this is more realistic, because this is really, even when the girl said to me, she said, you're always such a big boss lady. And I was like, oh man, God really can show you who you are when you're doubting yourself and you're like, I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I can get a job really easy. One thing I have to say, I like you guys, I really, really like about Edmonton. I feel like there's so much job, but nobody's doing them. And somebody used to say that. People used to say that to me all the time, and I used to be like, "Yeah, right. You lying." But also, people are not very organized out here. Like I don't know if my style of management and business style will work out here. But then again, I want to attract the 10%. I'm not trying to attract all the birds and chickens and whatever, right? So it might work because they're probably desperate for some kind of professionalism and manners and good treatment. Like when you come to my salon, it's gonna be oasis. Like it would never be like a ratchet. Anybody that knows me know that there's no ratchet nothing when it comes to me. Like my clients are too special to have that kind of environment, and I never attract those kind of clients anyways that much. I might, everybody has 10% of ratchetness, but not always. So yeah, I was told to calm down. I'm in my room quietly talking on my phone, and I was told to calm down because I'm excited. And I was like, "Why do you think I'm upset?" I said, "Black people are not always upset. We're just because we have personality. People that have no personality, they don't understand. They get really confused if you're like happy, and because the society tell everybody that black people are supposed to be miserable, unhappy, this thieves, liar, whatever the picture, the narrative they've painted for years. When they meet somebody that don't fit that narrative, they get confused. It's like mind blown. Why are you so happy? I'm happy. I'm a happy person 80% of the time. I'm not depressed. I I have depression in my family and stuff like that. So I try to stay away from that hole. And if I go to that hole, I'm jumping out before I get to the bottom because it's dangerous. I was watching a show, I think it's The Mates, and I'm like, man, you're like a different person when you're depressed, especially if it's. I remember going to counseling. Yeah, I have no shame. I have no problem. I lost 10 people. I actually need a lot of grief counseling because it's not like I remember when somebody was talking about nervous breakdown and stuff. I was in a class. I did a communication class which had a mental health training part to it and talked about, we had a psychologist come in and da 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 and all that good stuff. And they talked about what can create trauma in people's life, and they're like death, especially of appearance. I'm like, dude, got it. And they're like, health issues, got it. And then they're like, loss of a relationship. I had just broken up with my ex from like 2 3 years or whatever of just annoyance. He just annoyed me in my life. So everything they talked about, I literally been through like it. So I was going everything on the list, I matched them 10 times over. I was like, oh, okay, so I have a lot of trauma. I'm surprised. No, I realized why I couldn't really keep a job, because I think it's, even though I did, like, man, I tried hard. Like, so most people wouldn't be able to even get out of bed. That was hard. I get it now, but you know what? God is trained me for something so big, because I understand clients now. Like, I remember a client told me, and she's like, Julianne, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason my hair is not done, I have been through hell and back. And I saw her with the hair, and I literally, if you saw this thing that went viral on YouTube, it was this lady that she hadn't combed her hair in like 3 months. And I swear to God, I said I want to cry, because I've had so many clients like that. And the only thing though, guys, it's hard. Like, we're very kind-hearted hairdressers, a lot of us, but we can't spend 3 hours or 4 hours to detangle somebody's hair without charging them. Like, we cannot do that. Like, it's only rich hairdressers that maybe, sometimes we're just too nice for our own good. And I, unfortunately, after many, many years, I can't do that anymore. I'll take the time to do it, because that means that we have to block off our time. And the thing is, they never tell you. They never tell you before they come. They just show up and you're like, what is happening here? Because you're thinking you're going to just do a regular haircut. It's going to take you 5 minutes to detangle somebody's hair, and it takes you 5 hours. Can you imagine? And the first thing, I will train, or I say to people, tell them before you even start, listen, if this takes me 5 hours, I have to charge you. So whatever your rate is, if you're $100 an hour, it's going to be $500 at the end of this, because it's going to take me 5 hours. And because especially if you be gentle, if they want to save their hair. A lot of times it's really easy for some people, because they just cut off their hair and just do a little short pixie cut. It's always like I've had people walk out just looking like amazing. They don't even look like the same person. They come in depressed, just heavy burden. I joke. This is why I don't. People are trying to tell me what to charge. You don't make my price, honey. You don't know what I have to go through as a hairdresser. The hardship, the depression, the energy swapping from when I touch a client that has like low vibration, and then they alter your vibration. It's not easy, you guys. It's so hard. People are telling me he's very hard job. He's very, and I'm like, I love people that understand it's a hard job. People that's like, it's so easy. You just, what do you do? One guy, I knew he was never gonna be my husband. Never in a million years. I hate him so much for that now that I think about it. It's like, what do you do all day? Just talk to clients and laugh, and they give you a big tip. I was like, if he only knew that sometimes we have to talk people off the ledge. I've had suicidal client. I've had client that's been abused. I've had clients that's just broken up and just coming out of a marriage of like many years. I've had clients that lost their job, and I'm just like, you're gonna get a job tomorrow. And I'm just like, and they're like so depressed, wondering how they're gonna pay their mortgage. And in this culture, you lose your job, you lose your home, you lose everything. So of course it's not like back home you're like, oh my god, stay with my auntie or whatever. You own your own home because you made it from scratch, from the 1 bedroom and add on to it. So it's not like when you're like, oh, okay, so I'll fix that and then I'll just get another job. No, you might starve till then. And some people, they just make it hard for you. They start asking you dumb questions. Why did you lose the other job? And it's like, well, I don't want to tell you that they're racist, and they would say racist comment to me all the time, and they're lucky I never punched them out, or whatever. I'm just giving an example. Of course, I don't know why and if they were bad at their job. I just know that some of these people, especially my regular client, I think I know them, and I don't think they have those kind of tendencies. So it's like a new client, they can say anything and tell any lies, because I didn't realize people. My little 20-year-old, she was so funny, 20-year-old coworker, she's like, Julianne, people lie. People will tell you anything because they want you to be on their side. Or she said, what's the word she said, because you're their stylist and you're over their hair. And I'm just like, why make up a whole story just for what, to impress me? I don't get, like, I don't know them that well. I don't care that well, because it's not my they're not my regular client. My regular clients are like family to me. Like I care. I'm like calling people on the phone, like, are you hiring? Because I have a client that's looking for a job. I had a client that had, for example, like somebody has an accounting firm, and I know my client just lost her job and she's an accountant. I'm like, hello, yes. So I'm gonna send them. I'm a connector. So I've gotten people's job. I've gotten people movies. I've gotten people acting gigs. Gotten people some, and you know what? If I tell you that half of these people never even say thank you, and that's why they're not. That's why their things, they're always falling off things, and things don't always work out because a lot of them, they've never said, you know that really great client you gave me, that job you helped me with. Thank you so much. Sometimes you're just making the connection. I'm not saying I know the person and they're a good worker. I'm just like, I know they're looking for a job and I know you have a firm, so maybe you can talk. And sometimes if it's a client that I've had for many, many years, I'm like, I know this person. This person is like a hard worker. They work on weekends. I know them. So take a look at them and, whatever. So, anyways, of course, it's like super long, my chat. But yeah, it's, you guys, it's interesting today. And when I decide, I'm not gonna wallow and pity. And when I saw other people, it's funny, you could just see other people and it makes you look at yourself, because when you see other people that's just smoking and drinking, and when I hear people always talking about smoking and drinking away their problems, I'm like, I would never do that. I will go to counsel. The Caribbean in me is like, get to the roots of the problem, dig out the root. If it's trauma, then get rid of the trauma. If it's something that triggers you, figure it out and then fix it. Like, that's how I feel about everything, not just like sit there and like, put up with it and just be miserable. Because now that I've learned, oh my gosh, I've learned so much about being sad and misery and all this stuff that causes cancer, causes um the stress, the gut fat, causes so many stuff. And it made sense to me because I knew when I was going through so much, I felt sick constantly, and I was like, that's weird that when I'm sick, then I'm getting another sickness and other things are happening. So, and this is usually when I'm stressed and I'm going through a lot of emotional pain and my emotional things. So I was like, oh, okay, there's a way it's tied in. It's tied in for sure. For sure.